Thanks to community fundraising, work is underway to restore a historic building in the Albina neighborhood. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm John Adams. Back in 2021, a fire threatened to destroy the Webb Elks Lodge. Deidre Johnson spoke with the people working to restore the lodge. They discussed why this is such an important part of the Albina community.
Deborah Roche has been coming to the Billy Webb Elks Lodge for years. The building has been a significant part of the community and her life.
I've been here about 20 years now as a member. Came before I was a member, as my father was a member, and numerous other relatives and friends were members of the lodge as well.
The lodge is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. It's one of only a handful of African American places recognized in Oregon.
It's been here in the hands of the Elks since 1940s. Originally it was built in the 1920s as a YWCA when black people were not allowed to attend any other YWCAs. And so this was built especially for the African American community to utilize.
Now, after a devastating fire in 2021, the building is finally being restored. The lodge was remodeled back in 2009. But now, with the fire damage, it's like starting all over again.
The major damage from the fire was in the ballroom, and it destroyed several rafters or trusses in the ceiling, more than we anticipated. So now the work has had to be extensive and, of course, more expensive.
Other members of the lodge say it's been a work in progress.
It's been a long process to get funding and insurance and construction going, and now it's moving at a really solid pace.
One of the biggest challenges, the weather.
We live in Oregon, so it rains all the time. So in order for us to bring in new trusses, as you can see, there's a massive tower behind us that encapsulates the entire roof of the structure, and that only is to provide a temp weather protection to the building.
Many say not even the weather will stop the project the community hopes to see back open.
Everyone that's came up to us has always had just great things to say. They're ecstatic to see that we're working on the project, so it does make us feel good.
Deborah Roche says it's been a journey, but they can't wait to welcome back the community.
I am so excited. I mean, this has been like home for me, or second home for me, and I'm so excited to see that it's going to be rebuilt.
That was our Deidre Johnson reporting. Turning now to weather, we could not have asked for a more picture-perfect Mother's Day. Barely a cloud in the sky over Portland this afternoon, with temperatures a little cooler than we've seen over the last few days. Let's bring in Ashley Grams. Are those cool temperatures going to continue into Monday, Ashley?
Yeah, John, we did see a cool down today, although it was absolutely gorgeous. For all of you moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of our motherly figures. We appreciate you so much. I hope you got a chance to get out and enjoy this sunshine. Here's a live look from our Cannon Beach camera. Plenty of folks down there enjoying it. In the 60s if you're out there on the coast. A little bit warmer if you're here in the Rose City, like John said. Hardly a cloud in the sky. 80 degrees right now, but believe it or not, that's about 10 degrees cooler than we saw yesterday. Yesterday we reached 90 degrees. Here's a look at what our temperature change from 24 hours ago. So again, you see that 10-degree temperature change in Portland, 9-degree temperature change for those of you in Vancouver and in Southwest Washington. But you'll notice not too different on the coast. We're still sitting in those 60s. And like John said, we're going to see this cool down into Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to drop into those 60s, maybe low 70s. We're going to see some more cloud cover, but no rain. We'll talk more about that in your 7-day forecast coming up. John?
All right, Ashley, thank you. There was one Mother's Day event tailored for people who wanted to escape the heat. Every year on Mother's Day weekend, Unique Markets holds its City of Roses Spring Market. More than 120 displays were featured inside Veterans Memorial Coliseum. They included artists, designers, plus up-and-coming brands from Portland and across the country.
We want to make sure that the small business community has a place to pop up and to connect with the community that they live in. And we love to bring people together to celebrate small businesses, and we love to see families making memories together.
She also says supporting local businesses keeps more money in the local economy compared to shopping at major retailers. 3 second-generation immigrants are creating Portland's first coffee shop above a sneaker store. Our Sydney Dorner sat down with the young entrepreneurs on how they brought their vision to life. Sydney.
John Alam Osman is only 22 years old, but already a co-owner of Portland's first Somali-owned coffee shop. Growing up in the Rose City, she always loved seeing how people's moods were lifted by the energy created in a coffee house. When her friends started working with a popular sneaker store that had open space, she knew it was time to take a chance. Portland is full of coffee houses, but none like above ground.
I come from a big family. I have a lot of nieces, nephews, and a lot of coffee shops in Portland tend to be like kind of small and like aren't as family friendly.
Ahla Osman was born and raised here in Portland, coming from a Somalian family of 10. Her friend Muhammad was always a fan of sneakers, working closely with the owners of a sneaker store off Northwest Flanders and Broadway called Bridge City Souls. The store had a vacant second floor, and the friends immediately knew what would work great in the space.
He loved the idea of like sneakers and coffee, and just like the idea of like having like a lounge area above a sneaker store.
Muhammad Alam and her brother Abdul Rahim are all in their 20s with no formal education in business. They started working on the small business back in the fall, proud to have just had a grand opening for the coffee house in April.
Did you want that iced or hot?
The menu is a head nod to their East African roots, with a banana and date latte on the menu and spices infused into the drinks.
As Somalis, we eat a lot of bananas. We eat it with our rice, we eat it with our pasta. And then we also use a lot of like cardamom and cinnamon and like anti-inflammatory spices like in our food.
Even though it's been only 1 month since the grand opening, they've already found a community here in Old Town, making it their mission for the space to be welcoming, whether it be board games or inviting artists to work in their space.
Feel free to buy a cup of coffee and express themselves doing art or studying or, you know, having a conversation with a friend or getting to know one another or even coming in here and getting to know one of us.
Sydney Dorner, KGW News.
New tonight, a local business in Portland is asking for the public's support. Covert Cafe in the Montevilla neighborhood was burglarized this morning. They say the two people caught on camera stole all of their money from the weekend. They're asking people to visit them if possible to help recover the losses. Blazers fans had their eyes fixed on the NBA draft lottery, which took place at noon earlier today. The team had among the highest chances to secure the #1 overall pick.
The 7th pick in the NBA draft belongs to the Portland Trail Blazers.
Unfortunately, as you just heard, that's not how things shook out today. The Blazers will have the 7th overall pick. They also have the 14th pick. And new tonight from the Timbers, they've announced that Tillamook is the team's new front of jersey sponsor. The team debuted their new kit during today's match against the Seattle Sounders. It's part of a multi-year deal with the Dairy Co-op, which has been represented by the Timbers for about 10 years now. The team dropped its previous sponsor, Hillsborough home improvement contractor DeBella, earlier this season. Those kits only lasted 1 game after a report that the company's chief executive was accused of workplace sexual harassment. Rolando Sanchez will bring you all the details from the draft and the Timbers game tonight on Sports Sunday. That's after KGW News at 11. Now check this out. The U.S. Coast Guard performed a water rescue yesterday off the Oregon coast. It says a boat containing 2 people and a dog capsized about 2.5 miles east of Tongue Point. 1 person was airlifted while the other and the dog were picked up by a boat. Both people were taken to the hospital.